So what do you do in the mornings?
Usually I'm sitting in the parking lot, make sure everybody's being safe getting here. Sometimes I'll run traffic, which is probably what we'll do this morning. You get to know kids and know their vehicles and know who's driving what. And so, you know, a lot of times I can take attendance by the parking lot. So this is the front lights and this is the rear lights. So yeah, slow down. I got a attempted suicide call right now out Postmaster Lane. It's been a bad week for that this week. I know you guys just did your podcast about that. This week's podcast was, but we've had one completed suicide this week. This will make number 4 attempted that I know about that happened while I was working. So suicidal issues are getting really bad, and we got a lot of issues with mental health crisis right now. So these are all the kids who have their tardy cards punched every day. Tardy shaming. Yes. See the desert zoomies. Josh, how's it going, buddy? You know, are they coming? So can you get a hold of a caseworker?
See that? Is this sheriff?
Yeah.
Honorary sheriff.
Hello. What's up?
Thank you.
You want anything to do? Word Union 45. Bye. Oh my goodness, Tracy.
Morning. Good morning.
I told you, the important thing is knowing where the candy's at.
School, assignments, whatever. Let us know so we can organize. Candy.
High five. Wait.
Funny do you think you are?
How funny do I think I am? Like a 15? Oh my god. Yummy daddy, yeah.
What do you view as your most important day-to-day activity?
Connecting with kids. Period.
What is one thing that you will never do again?
Life in general, I'd never drink again if I had it to do over again. And that problem's kind of solved because of the whole swapping the liver out thing. I can't drink again, so it works out great. What no other SRO around us gets to do. The way the school has worked with me and I don't know if you'd call it freedom, they kind of let me do what I need to do to take care of kids. A lot of other SROs don't get the opportunities that I get to connect with kids because they're so restricted. Other SROs aren't even allowed to take pictures with kids and post them on social media. Other SROs aren't even allowed to have social media accounts and have kids on their social media accounts. And to me, that's important. I mean, it's get to meet you online. And so that's where you talk. That's where you got to go to meet kids. And so I've had so many kids reporting suicidal stuff to me after hours, reporting bullying and all those kinds of things because they can make those connections online that other SROs don't have the ability to be able to do. So it shows their commitment to be able to let us do what we need to do to make those connections with kids.
Kaale, Morris's house. Hey, what we decided.
What's going on?
Found a bunch of skippers.
Boy, you did.
See ya.
Before we end this, is there anything else you'd like to say?
Have a good weekend.
Hi, welcome to S.W.A.T Talk.
Where we are no strangers, we're your voice.
Here we have Mr. Buck Owen with us today.
Hi, everybody.
So have you ever wondered what it's like to be a school resource officer?
Actually, yeah, that's why we have Buck here today.
Hi again.
He's going to talk about kind of what he does.
What made you decide to become a resource officer?
So when I graduated school, my intentions was to be a teacher, and I got off that track and was eventually decided to be a cop. I was working on the road as a cop for a long time. I had to get out of that because of the money. In case you don't know this, don't be a cop, pay sucks. I had to get into, I went into management for a long time. I graduated from McDonald County. We moved away from the area, moved to North Carolina. I worked out there for a while, and I heard about the job coming open, and it kind of combined my two passions. I wanted to be a teacher and I wanted to be a cop, so it was kind of the perfect combination of two things that I always wanted to do.
What's the hardest part about your job?
The two most difficult parts of my job is number one, anytime that I have to put handcuffs on a kid. Worst day of my job. Me, I take it personal, and so if it ever comes to the point where I have to arrest one of my kids, because you guys are all my kids, then I failed at doing my job. And then the second worst part is having to deal with the loss of a kid.
What is the most interesting opportunity that you've had while working as a resource officer?
I'd say the most interesting thing to me about this job is getting to see the different perspective of kids and different perspective of how things were whenever I was a teenager versus the things that you guys have to deal with and struggle with now.
Buck can get into your my eyes only. Don't worry.
Yeah. I've seen things that I can't unsee.
Is that weird?
It's absolutely weird. Speaking of the worst part of my job, you know, that's definitely ranks right up there in the top 3 or 4. Don't think that if you come to us and say, hey, I screwed up, I sent these pictures, they're out there, I need help. We're here to help you.
You said that you find drugs weekly here. What is like the most drug that you find?
Unless we're counting tobacco, which is a drug. I mean, vapes are huge, but it's marijuana is the big one.
Speaking of vapes, we still have vape boxes up, so remember that.
What's like the worst drug that you found here?
We found meth, we've found acid on kids, we've found pills, Xanax, oxys.
What's so bad about fentanyl?
It's just a super powerful narcotic. It's originally intentioned for pain management, obviously, but it's a cheap alternative to heroin. It's a cheap cut that they can use, they can add. We've even been finding marijuana laced with fentanyl because it's highly addictive. This is a dab pen. It's got carts in it. This is a dab pen. It may not look like much if it doesn't have the cartridge on it. It may just look like
So it looks like a stylus.
A stylus for a pen or for an iPad or a battery. There are some obvious ones. I mean, obviously a meth pipe is pretty distinguishable. Wax can be deceiving too. We had this one, I was telling the kids earlier, it got mistaken for Carmex. I mean, sometimes it even gets put in the same containers. It has an odor of marijuana to it, so you can usually smell that one pretty easily. This looks like a yellowish clear paste. One that we found in the school and hearing a lot more about recently is LSD or acid. It's super, super tiny. So I mean, it's super easy to hide, super easy to conceal. So if you're suspected any of these things, if you find any of these things in your house, or you suspect that your kids are using these things, feel free to contact us. That's what we're here for. Don't call us resource officer for no reason. I mean, we're a resource for the kids, but we're also a resource for you as a parent. Resources that we have to get counseling for this or treatment.